Hey guys, welcome to the next Read It or Unhaul It challenge. I apologize. I don't have the footage of me selecting the next book out of the jar because the video footage had no sound. For whatever reason, I had to scrap it and delete it. So, this is my introduction. I hope you enjoy this video regardless. I'm having the biggest problems with my computer, me and my settings, because I have to keep changing the audio setting devices. Anyways, we are outside this morning because it is a gorgeous day. It is warm, but not like hot. I love the sound of the birds going off. I can just hear all the birds around me and it's just making me really happy. I was trying to set this up in my room earlier and it was not working. I can't believe it's already like 10:30, so hopefully this is the last time that I have to set this up. So yeah, I still have a lot of things to do today. We had a bit of a rocky morning this morning. My youngest son just was really struggling this morning and he needed some extra time before he could go to school. So I gave him a bit extra. I gave him the option to like sleep a little bit more, and he said he couldn't go back to sleep. So I had him take a shower and just having extra time. He had a cup of coffee, organized his backpack and all that, and then we got him to school about 20 minutes after his first class started. So not too bad, and that seemed to just really help him. Oh yeah, I'm officially signed up for the tournament. I am so excited, but I'm also kind of nervous. Since I got my black belt, I have a whole new form and it is so long. It's so many steps to learn. I'm not really great at learning physical choreographed things. I definitely take longer to learn those things. And I learned something interesting about that, but apparently people who have dyslexia actually struggle with coordination a lot more than people who don't have dyslexia. And I'm like, that actually makes so much sense. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. And people are going places today. They are very busy. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about Wildwood Dancing. I do have a little bit of updates. I have made it 68 pages into this book so far, and so far so good ish. First of all, I didn't know that this was a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. Oddly enough, though, it's probably more loosely related because this only has 6 sisters, not 12. The other two that I read, House of Salt and Sorrows, which I guess I should say that I have never read the original 12 Dancing Princesses fairy tale. And then I read House of Salt and Sorrows, but it wasn't until after I had read it that someone had stated that it was a retelling, and I have no baseline to compare it, you know? So I love House of Salt and Sorrows. It's like an all-time favorite of mine. Then I read Entwined, and I think I was about this much through when I was told it was 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. That one I didn't really care for. I honestly felt that it was pretty boring and it seemed to just last a long time. And now I'm reading this one. This one feels really whimsical. I am under the impression that it is for a little bit younger audience, but it's for everybody. It does feel incredibly whimsical. There is a girl who has a friend frog. She doesn't feel right that people keep calling it a pet because for her, he is so much more. We're dumped into the story that the the sisters have already for many years, every full moon they go through a portal to the other land, the other kingdom. I think they call it the other kingdom, and they go dancing all night, but they are very fully aware of the fact that you can get lost there for years. They also live at the edge of this dark forest, which is kind of spooky and like bad things can happen. There's a lot of air traffic today. I apologize, but I tried doing this video up in my room several times and I just can't deal with the lighting situation. So the light is better out here and it's beautiful, warm. Finally, because it's been so cold. It's almost past now. So where was I? I was reading some reviews and somebody was saying that just this is just such an amazing, they had like a full long essay about just how wonderful this book is and how many different ways it explores love and relationships. The bond between these sisters is incredibly strong. The different types of romantic interests that are portrayed in here, and it really explores those very well. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I will say that I've already come across a few passages where it seemed like my brain was getting bored, and I've been kind of like wanting it to like speed up. However, it is pretty flowery writing, but not, I don't necessarily feel that it's over the top, but it's flowery enough that it adds to that whimsical feeling. Oh my god, another fucking plane? Seriously? They're so busy. Um, I just need to get the sentence out before another plane goes overhead. I literally can hear another one in the background. Like it just took off right after that one. So I'm definitely feeling a lot more clear-headed this morning. However, yesterday I was definitely very like, especially towards the tail end of the day, I was feeling really, really rotten. My sinuses are so, because it's like I almost get like brain fog, and it's almost really difficult to like focus and think straight and even articulate my words correctly when I'm so congested. So I think that was kind of also affecting my reading and comprehension just a little bit. So I'm going to try not to let that affect my opinion of how this book is going and just kind of continue on. However, now Gwen. Hey Gwen, come on. She's a chatter. Come here. Come here. Come here. I missed you. No, this is our girl who lives outside. So I am going to go ahead and switch over to the audiobook while I do all the rest of the cleaning tasks and stuff. Like, I have a ton of laundry to do. I want to scrub down my bathroom. It's time to spray down all the counters and all that good stuff. And then I have like some other like organizing and decluttering and stuff to do. So that's what I'm going to do. You are disgusting and you need a bath. I will catch up with you guys later when I have some more updates. We're in my bathroom now. I've got it all decluttered, so I'm about to start spraying it down, bleaching it, scrubbing it. I'm into chapter 5, 31% of the way through. I have to say the chapter lengths are very long. I generally like chapters that are short, but it doesn't really matter. It's the same amount of pages, however you break it up. And when you're listening to an audiobook, it doesn't really seem like, you're not like seeing how many pages are in a chapter because you're just going along. But anyways, 31% of the way through, I would just had lunch and I was just listening to Emily Fox's video for her Read It Unhgaul It. And she did the extreme edition where she takes like a stack of books and like reads the first chapter, decide which ones are worth continuing, which ones are not. And I freaking love that idea. I think I'm going to do my own version of that come for spring break. I think that's what I'm going to do for spring break. But I need to finish up some books. I need to finish up the books I'm reading for this vlog. A few other books I would like to finish before I get there. But we'll see. If that sounds good to you, you can go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell and be notified when I do that vlog. That's definitely coming. I'm making that happen because I really like that idea. This book has just gotten incredibly good, and it kind of goes down the same path of like themes and books that I really enjoy. So we have 6 daughters. There's the oldest daughter, Tatiana. She's kind of whimsical, she seems very like dreamy, like, and she has met a vampire at the other kingdom. She obviously seems to be falling in love with, which her younger sister, Jana's like our main character. She's like the primary sister that kind of takes care of everything. She's the sensible one. Tatiana's the oldest, so it seems like it should fall on her. She's not as sensible. She's also the prettiest one. So basically everything, all the responsibilities tend to fall on Jana's shoulders. I think that's her name, Jana. Jana is not happy with her sister being involved with this vampire character because of, they drink blood, they're not good, but her sister's like continuing on with it. In the real world, her father is away. He works a lot. He was away on a long job, and he has now come down with a sickness. Their cousin they used to get along really well with their cousin until their cousin had a very bad accident with someone he cares about. Well, someone they all cared about drowned. And he blames the creatures of the forest. So he has made it his mission to get rid of them for revenge. He has been talking about wanting to cut down the forest. The girls, so far, they have a hold on the land. It's their land. But if something happens to their father, they can't like own the land unless they get married or something. So it would go to their cousin and their uncle. So now their dad is off on this job, and he has sent a letter that he is not coming home right away. He's going to wait to the spring because he is really not feeling well. And it wasn't really his letter. It was a letter that this other woman composed for them. She's like been a long-term friend, companion, almost kind of like a secretary for their dad. So this letter has been composed by this woman. And I don't know. Now, part of me doesn't remember if she is the aunt. Now, they're also, just mind you, they're also getting to the age of being married. So Tatiana is about a year behind going out into society and being married. The aunt that is staying with them, she has been kind of urging them, like, you need to go out, you need to get into society, no one can even see you. Little does she know, they go out, but just not with the right crowd. So something just happened with the cousin. First of all, the cousin is absolutely despicable. He is a terrible person. Not only does he want to cut down the forest, we understand he just doesn't understand and he's afraid. And like, I get that. But what I don't get is his complete and utter contempt for women and girls. And he is constantly saying things like, oh, girls should just get married and raise families. They don't need to be fussing around with business. And Gianna's really smart. She has been taking care of all these responsibilities. She takes over for things when her dad is out of town, like for their business. So without fussing around and asking him or waiting for his permission, she just takes care of it. And she's really good at that. But when her cousin gets word of her doing these things, he's constantly putting her down, saying like, "Oh, well, that's not what girls should be doing," and all this stuff. And then like she has her friend, the frog, or her pet frog. Everyone keeps telling her like, "You're too old for that. Like, girls don't have pet frogs." Oh, her cousin in particular has said, "Oh, get rid of that frog. That's not a proper pet for a lady. Like, we'll get you some other kind of pet, all right?" Another hardship they have recently run into is their coffers are empty. Somebody has stolen all of their money. Gianna was of the opinion that it was her and her sisters and her father that knew of the secret location of like where they kept everything. So now they're broke. And so they're going to have to try to save money and everything. So they have all of these issues kind of starting to creep up. And this has been really cleverly done because like every chapter or something, there's some other hardship that is putting them in more and more desperate situation. And it's been slowly building. Now we're at this precipice where, okay, they're broke. Their father may die. He's sick. She has just discovered, because she has been writing to her father, but something in the way somebody said something makes her believe that her father has not received her letters. Not only that, her cousin has been kind of alluding to wanting to just take over everything and take everything out of Jana's hands and do everything for her and treat her like a lady. He wants to take control of everything. And they have been very independent up until now. And so I personally believe that their cousin is behind what has been happening. Their father, I'm wondering if he's not actually sick and they haven't taken upon this opportunity to just kind of intercept the communication between her father and her. We also believe that maybe he had something to do with the reason her letters haven't made it to her father. There's all these little things, and their cousin is just getting more and more cocky, more trying to take control of things, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have this impending feeling of doom about something. Also, that's what I was going to say too, is I also think that he wants to weasel his way in and marry one of the sisters so then he can absolutely take control. He wants Gianna to give up her control and lean on him, and it will just make this transition seamless. And then he'll be like, "Oh, you need me, and what, now we can get married and all this stuff." That's what I think that this is going to turn into. Or he has no interest in marrying her, but he wants control of all these assets. And then if she still will not give it up, they're going to find some way to put them in such dire strait that she will have to marry him and then give up her control, because then he will own everything. Because in this time period, that's how it is for women. I'm going to keep listening. All right, there's a couple things going on. So, first of all, I know I was right about Cesar. He was trying to kind of butter up Jana, and like he's been like kind of touchy-feely with her. And I think he was actually going to broach the subject of getting married, but she cut him off and ended up kind of starting a fight with him. We've staved off that conversation for now. Jana has been talking to her frog friend, Goju. Goju is his name or something? She's talking about how, okay, they need to accept the fact that they may not see their father again. And if everything goes to Caesar's control, then they're screwed. And she needs to go ahead and accept that she's probably going to have to marry somebody so that it doesn't go to his control. And in order to marry someone, they're going to have to get their father's permission. But if he dies, then it's going to be up to Cesar's decision whether or not they're allowed to marry. So that would obviously be very bad because Cesar is asshole and he obviously wants to marry Jana, so he's probably going to tell her no to any sensible person. So we have just really upped the stakes. She's going to have to go out and find a decent person to marry. They're going to go ahead and I think they're going to have a party, a gathering to invite people over to hopefully meet somebody. But I have a theory that Goju is not just an ordinary frog, and we're kind of weaving in a frog prince situation, because we had this little interaction while the frog is so she's always been able to kind of read the frog's thoughts, and the frog is kind of withholding his feelings and his thoughts. He seems really concerned about her having to get married to somebody that she's met at a party, and he seems like he wants to tell her something, but he decides not to tell her. So I forgot to mention this, but back when they got the letter that their father was sick and wasn't going to be home right away, it just so happened that Cesar was there. I think he was the one in possession of the letter. And this is how she kind of was like, "Why do you have your hands in my private letters and stuff like that?" And he just so happened to be there, which seemed really odd to me back when we were talking about when they got word that their father was sick and not coming home. The very suspicious thing about this is that before they received this letter, when he was trying to help her with the finances, she had basically said, "No, I have always done these things. My father doesn't need your help. We don't need your help," kind of thing. And saying he suggested that his father would want that. And she said, "No, we don't need that kind of help." So then they miraculously get this letter, and it just so happens that their father gives their blessing that Cesar should be helping with the finances and being able to check in on it. Now the girls believe that their father wants that to be how everything goes. That is very suspicious. I'm pretty sure that all of this is a ruse, that Cesar has manipulated this whole situation. I'm 100% sure that that's what's going on. And this was after they had realized that they're broke because all their money had been taken mysteriously, which Cesar coincidentally knew where their father kept things, which I find, again, incredibly suspicious. So what does he do? Because they're having to tighten their buckles tighten their purse strings. He comes and flaunts his wealth and how well he can take care of them by bringing them treats and spoiling them with things that they can no longer afford. So he's flaunting and manipulating them by showing them, I can take care of you. You're broke. You're getting desperate. Your father's gonna die, but don't worry, I'm here to take care of you. That is, I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
All my boxes checked. All the right audio equipment, all the right visual equipment. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. It is Thursday. It is Thursday. This morning was already really busy for me. I went to chaperone a field trip for my youngest son for my middle school child, and that was all really fun, but now I am exhausted. I need some coffee. I got a few hours here to relax and read a little bit. I'm just about finished with this book, but I am going to go ahead and select the next book preemptively that I can work on, because I will be finished with this very shortly. I think I'm actually going to get my headphones and listen to the rest of this while I have my couple of hours to myself. But anyways, Wildwood Dancing is actually really good. I'm so glad I read this. It's been a lot of fun. It's also been quite a serious book, considering that I was under the impression that it was for a little bit younger audience, and I could see how that would work, but just like the reviewer said, that older audience can also fully enjoy this book, because I do think there are certain themes, like more the intricate business issues happening in the background, I think would really only appeal to the little bit older audience versus the younger audience, but the younger audience would still enjoy this. Either way, this is just a really good book. I'm so glad I read this. When I'm finished, obviously, will I keep this book on my shelves, or will I clear it off my shelves and give it away? I haven't really decided. I don't think this is a book that I would ever reread, so I'm thinking I should just get rid of it. We will cross that bridge, make that decision at a later time. But for now, let me go ahead and grab the bucket and we'll choose the next book. It's really weird. All right, we're going to go ahead and grab the bucket and select another one. So I usually am always rooting for a fantasy, but I am already reading a romantasy, so I guess I'm okay with anything. Okay, they get stuck between my fingers. All right, what is this one? Ooh, it is a fantasy. All right. I don't know what that is. Okay. Discount Armageddon by McGuinn. What is that? Okay, it's this one. I'm actually happy about this one, because this is one I picked up because it seemed like kind of a Buffy-esque sort of book. I have to make sure. You know what? I might have messed something up here, because I think this might not be like the first in a series. Awesome. This is the first in a series. There are 13 novels now at this point, and this is called Discount Armageddon. Cryptid, noun. Any creature whose existence has not yet been proven by science. Also see monster. Cryptozoologist, noun. Any person who thinks hunting for cryptids is a good idea. Also see idiot. That's funny. Ghoulies, ghosties, long-legged beasties. Things that go bump in the night. And that's just the beginning. The Price family has spent generations studying the monsters of the world, working to protect them from humanity, and to protect humanity from them. Enter Verity Price. Despite being trained from birth as a cryptozoologist, she'd rather dance a tango than tangle with a demon, and is spending a year in Manhattan while she pursues her career in professional ballroom dance. Sounds pretty simple, right? It would be, if it weren't for the talking mice, the telepathic mathematicians, the asbestos supermodels, and the trained monster hunters sent by the Price family's old enemies. The Covenant of St. George, to complicate matters further, local cryptids are disappearing. Strange lizard men are appearing in the sewers, and someone's spreading rumors about a dragon sleeping underneath the city. A lifetime of training isn't enough to prepare Verity for what's ahead, especially not for Dominic DeLuca, the Covenant's newest operative. When a Price girl meets a Covenant boy, high stakes, high heels, and a lot of collateral damage are almost guaranteed. I'm excited for this. All right, well, that's going to keep me busy for a while. I will update you guys when I have some more reading updates. All right, just a really quick update. I have been reading this book over the past 3 nights and trying it a little bit here and there during different moments in the day, and I'm just really not enjoying it. I'm not connecting to anything. I'm getting to a point where it just seems like, so the supernaturals are all called encryptids, and our main character is kind of running into a bunch of, basically all of her coworkers are encryptids. I guess she works as a waitress or something at a strip club. I don't know, the setting and everything, it feels incredibly. There's just some other things about it too that just really make it feel kind of dated. I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but it has something to do with the type of position she holds. She's always talking about how she's wearing a short skirt all the time, and it's just not meeting the mark that I thought it was gonna hit when you're talking about an ultra feminine girl who's doing a very dangerous job kind of thing. The whole reason that this really appealed to me in the first place, because it kind of screamed Buffy vibes to me. It's I just, everything else about it, but I think because of the setting of where she works, and there's quite a lot of other little quirky things about the story that I'm just really not liking. So I'm gonna go ahead and repick. It's a white one. Let's see here. Brothers of Auschwitz. All right, that's a very different pick. But I am pleased with this pick because this is one that I have had on my shelves. I've been kind of back and forth contemplating on it, wanting to just go ahead and give it a try. I do know that whether or not I like it or not, this is a book that I wouldn't probably keep on my shelves. These are kind of one-time reads for me. So let's go ahead and give it a read. Okay, Brothers Auschwitz. Auschwitz? Okay. Auschwitz. All right, didn't take long to decide that this book is really not going to be for me. It's not so much the story exactly, but this book is actually pretty poorly written. There's really no kind of punctuation, which I think is odd, but I've read books that don't have punctuation. There are authors that use that as a style within their works. Who is it? James Joyce? William Faulkner, I believe, is also kind of an icon for doing this sort of stylized writing. So that's not really my problem. It doesn't diminish my ability to read this book and understand what is going on or who's talking. So that part doesn't what really bothers me. What I don't like in this book is the repetition. I do think that it is intentional that the author is trying to go for those theatrics. I'm sorry, the heater just kicked on underneath the desk and I don't have my mic plugged in because this was supposed to be a really quick update. I don't care for the repetition, and I didn't make it that far. I'm into chapter 3. That's it. In the prologue, we have this very, I feel like the prologue just completely lost me to begin with. We have these sound effects where we're using pew 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 excessively. Beyond that, we do use other sound effects within the other chapters. I feel that those sound effects are a bit overused and they kind of don't know when to quit. That is a style that I just really do not like. The repetition, as I said, I find really annoying. And then we have these other passages where I do really want to find it because I feel like that's the best way to illustrate exactly what I'm talking about. Sora, look at that boy. What? Get down. Sora, don't chew on that. You look like you're gonna knock down the whole thing. Come on. Get down. Go. Okay, here's an example of the sound effects. He saw peddlers walking around the pit. They made signs at us with their hands, signs of the cross, signs of slitting throats, as if they held a knife in their hands. They grinned toothlessly. He he he. On the previous page, they're telling him that they have noticed that they are missing a member of their family, and they said that he better get with the family or Soldiers threaten father, shaking a finger at him. By nightfall, the boy must return by nightfall. There's repetition. Or we'll stand all of you against the wall. Boom, boom, boom. Understand? Father called Vasily from Dev's class. So that was an example of how they use repetition. They will make a statement and then repeat the main point of that statement the next line down. And I just find that just a great waste of extra words that don't really serve a purpose. I'm trying to think if there ever was a time where I felt, oh, and then here's another one. And this does break my heart, okay? This part really, really had me, and I was thinking maybe this book is going to work for me because this was incredibly, honestly, this might be too difficult for me to read. I just don't know that I'm in the mood to just like read something so incredibly sad. The young boy is concerned about everything at his house that he has to leave. His cows, they have no idea when they're coming back. Their father is under the impression that they will not be coming back. They have cows, and he has a beloved cat, and he's really concerned about who's going to take care of the cat. And he's saying that the cat came into my bed with his purring. It loved having its belly tickled. I really did not like the use of the sound effect within that sentence. It just seemed annoying. It happens so often. It's so overused. Wah, wah, wah. A lifesaver who shouts into the megaphone, not a big one, in the wind. Wah, 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 wah. Like, please stop. They argue about rumors. Yelled. A day later, they repeated the rumors and reported new ones. Okay, here's another thing that this is not the first occurrence, but here is one that just logistically does not quite make sense to me. The scene itself is very abstract. I didn't really like this, and this isn't the first instance that this is even used in the book. Babies flew into the air like birds. Pregnant women were thrown onto a truck. Okay, makes sense. One woman's belly exploded mid-air, everything scattering as if there was a watermelon there, not a baby. Old people who couldn't walk were smeared on the floor. Whole villages stood on the platform without room to move. Like, that is a scene that literally makes absolutely no sense. I didn't like that. Another scene that is very, I would say, theatrical. Like, you can see it in this very theatrical sense of what it looks like, but it doesn't quite make sense. Another one of those is, my brother and I didn't know where we should run. Naked and confused, we ran from one side to the other, treading on legs. I mean, how else would you run, right? That's a weird way to explain that. Pushing with our hands. Around me, I saw people spinning with their hands above their heads, beating their chests. Okay, the first part makes sense, but then beating their chests, pulling their hair from their heads, their genitals. It's kind of weird. I mean, I understand, like, they're in the room where they shave all of the hair on their bodies, but, like, that scene is very, maybe it's meant to be that way, to be like comparing them to animals because that's the way they're being treated. I see that is an art style, but I just don't like it. I guess simply put, I just don't like it. Okay, here's an example where it's, again, a very distinctive art style. They're adding, I understand why to write it in this way because it's adding an intensity and urgency to it, which I can appreciate. But anyways, I sat on the last bed and observed the mouths of the people in the room. I watched them take a bite with their teeth. With their teeth could have been eliminated. How else are you going to take a bite of food? You know what I'm saying? I watched them take a bite with their teeth. Gurgle, chew, swallow, chatting, offering to each other, saying thank you, sucking, wiping, burping, scratching, laughing, wrapping leftovers in a napkin, putting them back on the box, locking it, and going to sleep. And then, as you can tell from the way I was reading that, we have these single word verbs separated by commas. And then instead of like adding, I feel like it's the wrong punctuation. Instead of adding like a period to then make your point on that and then start a different style or sentence, we just launch right into a longer sentence, a 3-word sentence instead of one singular word. And I felt that kind of tripped me up. I feel like probably needed different punctuation, or probably just maybe not do that anyways. But yeah, we go on gurgle, chew, swallow, chatting, and then we have offering to each other and then saying thank you. Like, I feel like those don't really fit. So anyways, yeah, I feel like the writing style is incredibly distracting. I'm being very, very critical about how this book is deciding to illustrate itself. The story is illustrating itself in a style that I really don't like. And then beyond that, I just feel that there are hundreds and thousands of stories of people in Auschwitz, and it doesn't mean that any one of them are less important than others, but you can't read them all. I do think that there is a threshold to which there's only so many World War II terrible Jewish stories that one can take without going insane. And I just don't think that this one's for me. I will hold out for another one that's maybe just written a little bit better in a style that I like. So I'm gonna go ahead and DNF this. And we're gonna pick the next one. This has been really good. All right. Ooh, a blue one. Haven't had blue in like a long time. Can't read that. One-handed. Okay. This is The Goddess. What is that one? What is that one? It's actually one that I just recently got. This one sounded really good. The cover just seems really nice, which is, it's crazy to me why they discard this, because like it's in perfect condition. Whatever. Works for me. Captivating novel about a woman who moves her family to Hawaii only to find herself drawn into a dangerous friendship. When Nancy and her family arrive in Kona, Hawaii, they are desperate for a fresh start. Nancy's husband has cheated on her. They sleep in separate bedrooms, and their twin sons have been acting out by setting off illegal fireworks. But Hawaii is paradise. They plant an orange tree in the yard. They share a bed once again, and Nancy resolves to make a happy life for herself. She starts taking a yoga class, and there she meets Anna, the charismatic teacher. Anna has a warm smile and a hard-won wisdom that resonates deeply with Nancy. Soon they are spending all their time together, sharing dinners, relaxing in Anna's hot tub, driving around Kona in the cute little car Anna helped Nancy buy. As Nancy grows closer and closer to Anna, skipping family dinners and leaving the twins to their own devices, she feels a happiness and mutual understanding unlike any other she's ever experienced, and she knows that she will do anything Anna asks of her. A mesmerizing story of friendship and manipulation set against the idyllic tropical world of a bad island. The Goddess is a stunning novel by one of our most exciting young writers. Oh, that's cool. So they have these page separators. A riveting psychological thriller. Okay, this sounds incredibly good. I'm very excited for this one. Let's hope this goes very well. Hey guys, it's Monday and it is, March 3rd, I want to say? Yeah, March 3rd. Ooh, I'm on it today. It was only yesterday that I picked this book up, and I have read just about 100 pages. 98 pages into this book, and I just don't know that it's going to work for me. This one's a little bit of a tough one. So we are following this woman named Nancy. Her and her husband Chuck and their two boys moved from San Diego to Hawaii. This is kind of one of those reasons I probably ended up picking up this book, because I grew up in San Diego. I do really like domestic thrillers. Nancy's husband actually ended up cheating on her, and they're going through a lot of changes. They are trying to repair their relationship, and that is why they moved to Hawaii for this fresh new start. Well, Nancy is also going through a lot of emotions, her anger and resentment towards Chuck, but also trying to teeter on her emotions towards, continuing her love for him still. I really like the exploration of all of those emotions. I also really like that despite an affair, they are continuing to still work through. They're going to try to work through it. I think that is a topic that I don't necessarily see a lot of. It does seem to feel like just because someone cheats, you need to end it, you need a divorce, call it quits. But there are still a lot of marriages that continue after an affair that are very successful and maybe even healthier for it. So I think that's a really interesting angle for this. And then in Hawaii, Nancy is trying to change herself in a way, because I do think that
when you go through a really tough thing in your marriage. She talks a lot about how stagnant she was. She's just trying to find herself again, look into herself and not just continue the same things that she has always done, because clearly she wasn't happy with that. So she's really trying to put herself out there in Hawaii and make friends. She starts a yoga class, which I really like that as well because I also do yoga. Through that, she meets a friend. She's actually the instructor of her yoga class, and her name is Ona. It's spelled A-N-A, but she is very insistent that you pronounce it Ona, O-N-A. Anyways, whatever. I think it's a little bit strange, but it is what it is. So they start up this friendship. Eventually, this friendship is supposed to turn into a toxic friendship. Part of reading this book is seeing that change within Nancy and how she is so drawn to Ona and how that friendship relates. And I can already see certain things that Ona is, I think, very calculated. So far in this, I do enjoy seeing those little things that Ona is actually doing to bring Nancy even closer to her. The odd thing is that even through their friendship, at least at the beginning, because I'm literally at the beginning of their friendship, her marriage is actually improving. Eventually, this friendship is supposed to come between her marriage and her relationship with her children and everything. I am torn whether or not I want to continue on with this book because on one hand, it's a really fast-paced book. I read like 70 pages last night while I was in bed. But to be fair, I wasn't exactly reading every single word. There are two kind of storylines going on here. We have Nancy with her husband and her children at home. And then we have Nancy when she is doing her own thing. When everyone's at school, everyone's at work, and she's by herself. She's a stay-at-home mom. So how does she occupy her time? Her going to yoga, her spending time with Ona, and spending time with another friend named Marcy. And I do kind of like that. Like, you kind of have two different Nancys. The Nancy that she is when she's got her mom hat on, her wife hat on, and then the Nancy who is just herself by herself. As a stay-at-home mom, I also feel like I wear two hats sometimes as well, in very much that same way. Like, to be fair, it is kind of intentional. The storyline of her when she's at home all day is kind of boring, to be real. We're going through the motions with her. She's preparing for dinner and doing all of those things and conversations with her husband, the emotional roller coaster she's going through with Chuck, and like, does she allow him to give her a kiss today? Do they sleep in the same bed? Does he sleep on the couch? Because they're still like pretty fresh off this affair, and it takes a long time for her to, feel comfortable with some of these things. Those chapters, however, are pretty slow moving. I do feel like I'm getting bored within those chapters, so I've been kind of like speed reading through them. And then when we're spending time with Ona, I am being more critical of that relationship because I know that it is supposed to turn toxic, and I see things popping up. They're kind of sort of red flags just because I know it's going to go downhill. I don't know that I would have seen them as red flags if I didn't know. I do think that Ona is a little bit odd. Pretty much right out of the gate, Ona has decided to Nancy in on a lot of her dark secrets, a lot of personal stuff. But I think that that is actually a very calculated and manipulative move because it automatically makes Nancy feel special. Like they have a special bond because you don't usually tell people this much about you unless they trust you. So I guess it is kind of a red flag. And it feels very kind of awkward. You're like, wow, you guys literally just met. And then we have other little things where Ona is being like, oh yeah, if you should change your name to Nan because then it's like almost the same and we're like twinsies. And then she's like, oh yeah, we're the same age. And it's just very interesting to me too because Ona has already admitted that she was not always a very nice person. She had done a lot of bad things, and she tells Nancy all these bad things that she has done. Like, she's basically a con artist. But now she's trying to turn a leaf and do a lot of good things because she believes in karma. I wonder if that doesn't make Nancy even more relatable to her because she wants to do these good things. So it also makes her forget about all the bad things because it doesn't matter. She's redeeming herself with all of these good things, right? So they go out and hand sandwiches and stuff out to the poor people. So it's an element of that manipulation. Oh yeah, then she says, oh, you should change your name to Nan, because then it's like Nan and Ona, because you spell it Nan, and then Ona's name is Ana. What's kind of weird to me though is that seems befitting of girls who may be in their 20s, teens to 20s, the same person and stuff like that. I guess you're not ever too old for that, but it does seem a little bit awkward to me, because both of these women are almost 50. They're like, I think they're 47 and 48. It does seem a little bit awkward. Do I continue reading this? I feel like I already know the ending. I feel like we already know it's going to go toxic. Sometimes I don't really enjoy the writing. I don't really enjoy the storytelling. A lot of times it's really boring, and that's where I'm at with this book. I think that even if I finish it, even if I'm surprised by it, it's still only going to ever be a 3-star. I am going to go ahead and set it down and think about it. If I finish it, I'll let you know. If it goes by the wayside and I decide that I just am not inspired to pick it up, then so be it. Then I'll get rid of it when I'm done with this vlog. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and choose the next book from. Now, I was kind of playing around with this. I've had a few duds in this vlog already, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should do an anticipated 5-star and it be my choice, or pick from the bin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick from the bin. If I don't like it, I'll put it back and then pick my anticipated 5-star. That's what we're going to do. All right. Next selection. Let's maybe go from the bottom. If it's on the bottom, those have been there for like ever and ever. Okay. What's this one? Ooh, another blue one. Y'all can't read that. I can't read that. Alright. Water for Elephants. This is actually a pretty good choice. I'm pretty sure that I could find the audiobook to accompany it, which is great because I have a lot of work to do this afternoon, cleaning up the room upstairs and everything like that. Tomorrow I'm going to be painting, so if I'm really into it, it'll give me something to listen to tomorrow. Now, I kind of forgot what this is about. I know that there's also a movie, so if I like it, I can watch the movie. But yeah, let's see. The summary is not really on the back. Where is the summary? You'll get lost in a tatty glamour of Gruen's meticulously researched world, from spangled equestrian pageantry and sleazy sideshow to an ill-fated night in Chicago speakeasy. An arresting new novel with showman's expert timing saves a terrific revelation for the final pages, transforming a glimpse of Americana into the enchanting escapist fairy tale. Gritty, sensual, and charged with dark secrets involving love, murder, and majestic mute heroine. There's not really a summary on my copy of this book, which is kind of weird. I do know that it does take place in like a circus. I didn't really know that there was murder involved. Let's give this a try. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to go ahead and talk pretty closely into this mic because we do have guests. There's people down in the living room watching TV and it's very, very loud. So I just wanted to do my last update for this video. It's not really ending how I anticipated, but I am kind of feeling a little stuck and a little bit in a rut. The last couple books I had picked up for this challenge weren't going very well. The last one that we ended on was Water for Elephants. Again, I'm feeling a little stuck. I did get the audiobook, but I've been having a difficult time connecting to it via audiobook, and a lot of that is because I've been very distracted. Life has been very busy. I've had a lot of catching up to do things just kind of get out of control. You know how it goes, with house cleaning chores and trying to prepare for birthdays and trying to prepare for guests coming for the weekend. And we also booked our flights for our trip in May, and that is incredibly exciting. I am getting more and more excited. I'm ready to go. And since then, I have been kind of watching a lot of videos about Portugal, what to expect, best types of food that you have to try when you're there. That being said, I think that I need to put this book down for this time. I'm really not feeling it right now. I'm not getting rid of it because I wasn't able to give it a fair chance. So this is going to go back on the shelf and we'll pick it up later. I think I might go ahead and stick the paper back in the jar. It's actually Sunday right now, And the kids' last day was Friday, and now they have the next 9 days off. Well, sorry, 7 days off. It is Sunday now, and then next week is spring break. Our guest leaves tomorrow in the evening, and then my husband will leave for work, and then it's just going to be me and the kids. And I wanted to start another vlog for spring break. I'm kind of going back and forth on what exactly to do. Either I want to do a shelf challenge where I choose a shelf and do kind of like read as many books on that shelf as I can, kind of also within the same theme of a read it or unhaul it, but that way it's just a little bit more focused, or to do an anticipated 5-star read it or unhaul it challenge, being very cutthroat on my unhauls. So I'm really eager to do that. And then I also kind of want to play catch up on some books that I'm reading. So I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to reshelf this book. I'll see you soon for that next vlog. Thank you all so much for watching.